Let's get that going. So on first take on Monday, he just talking and doing his thing. So he pretty much they was talking about Shohei Ohtani,
Mhm.
the pitcher from the Los Angeles. What? Yeah, they're Los Angeles, Anaheim.
Angel, they're Los Angeles
Los
Angels
Angeles,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Angels
Los
and
Angeles.
Anaheim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
complicated.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he went on first take and he said the following. But when you talk about an audience gravitating to the tube or to the ballpark to actually watch you, I don't think it helps that the number one face is a dude that needs an interpreter so you can understand what the hell he's saying in this country. Close quote. So I'm gonna go around the room. Malwa, your thoughts on Stephen A. Smith's comments?
Um, I've been tossing around which way I wanted to go. Bottom line is, it in this climate now, and just in general, you shouldn't even say anything like that to me. And I always talk about marketing too. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
So I would never. I don't think you should even say that. And then it's baseball. Baseball is really an international sport, and I don't know why this gentleman, Chris, just basically talked about Mississippi State and how they had all this anxiety. It's those things about sport. We know what I'm saying. Once they won and they was moving forward, that's the beauty of sport. You know what I'm saying? The friends that don't know each other, different races, giving the high fives and things of that nature. And when you have, you want the top players, you know what I'm saying, to play. So it should not make a difference if they need an interpreter or not. And I don't even understand why you even say that. Me personally, I think Stephen A. is getting older, and I think they overworking him, and he's on too many things. He looks. The more I see him now, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been working like crazy, and I haven't seen him much. He's looking older and over every day, and he looks tired. You know what I mean? And I just think he's doing too much, and then he say something out of the mind, almost look like he's freestyling or something, and then he has to apologize. You know what I mean? I think that think he needs to slow down some. I think he's at a place in his life. I think he's at a place in his career and in his life that he needs to slow down, and then maybe he won't put himself in these predicaments anymore. That's my take.
Mhm.
JB, your thoughts?
So, I mean, this is not shocking for me. I mean, he's always crossing the line. And I think we're probably going to get into the Nigeria situation maybe a little bit after this. But, you know, I when you look at baseball is really an international game. And, as a person who lived in Korea for 10 years, I can tell you that like baseball is huge in Korea. I actually went to the NPB, which is the baseball league in Japan. Is if you can't make it in MLB, you can go to the NPB and make some nice money there. Baseball is huge in Japan, and what difference does it make if the person can't speak English? I mean, I don't understand that. Like folks around the world in Asia love baseball, man, and most of the fans there can't speak English. And I mean, to even go further, the MVP of the American League last year, I can't think of his name right now. He's from Cuba. When he accepted the MVP last year, he was not speaking English. He used the interpreter. So, I mean, I don't understand what that has to do with it. Here's my thing, man. Stephen A. Smith is just ignorant. And I get tired of seeing this guy on TV with some of the stuff he's done. I've mentioned before on this show before, like the stuff that he did in the 2016 finals, like pitting Curry's wife. Yeah, Jose Abreu. Thank you, Bar Talks. I forgot his name, Jose Abreu.
Bars.
Bars Talks. Thanks you very much. Appreciate it. But the stuff he was doing, he was pitting Savannah against Curry's wife, and it's just like he goes too far sometimes. He's very ignorant, and he's gonna say the wrong thing one day, and he's gonna end up getting fired. I mean, Michelle Beadle already checked him when he made the comments about domestic violence, but she should have just kept to himself, and he basically had to apologize or he got suspended. So I mean, it's only a matter of time. He always is putting his foot in his mouth. And I hope we talk about this Nigeria thing later, because I have a tweet that I saw that I thought was very powerful. But I digress. I'm done with my comments at the moment. So
CB, what you got?
I mean, I agree with my fellow gentlemen on the panel. I mean, I really think he's like we just said, he's overworked, and it's so much. If you're working so much and you got your hands in so many things, you're bound to put your foot in your mouth. You're bound to mess up. It's only a matter of time. So he's doing a lot, and they have him all over the network. You see him in the morning, you see him during the day, you see him at night. I mean, he's always working. So, it's only a matter of time before you mess around and say something ignorant. And that's what happened here. And he got called out on it. And he has to do better. He needs to either, be a little more calculated. I mean, I know he works hard, but, be a little more calculated, work even harder to not say anything, wild and ignorant, or either just slow down so you can do that. So you can really, make sure you have your takes together.
And you know what? I would give him a pass if this was the first time this had happened. I would say, oh man, this is just like him being overworked. This is a slip of a tongue. But it seems like almost every year, it seems like almost every year something like this comes up. Right. And to me, that's why I'm kind of not wanting to give him a pass about him being overworked. I mean, if he's feeling overworked and he can't control what he has to say, he needs to talk to ESPN and like, look, can you cut back my schedule? I know he's in his 50s now, but like, yeah, I agree.
Hey, look, it's hard to say work me less when you're making 12 M's.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I found out he started on Hot 97 with, I think, Moni Love, something like that, a R&B singer. He's one of the original Hot 97 people. Ain't that crazy? And I'm sitting here like, I never knew that. This was like he's trying to take that drama and bring it in. I just think that he's at a place. He's been there for some years. He needs to have one show and then just focus on that show, man. And then, you know what I mean? And stop putting yourself into that predicament, man.
One also thing is, I'm not sure how fluent, just to go in another direction, I don't know how fluent Stephon Marbury is in Chinese, but that didn't stop him from being praised and loved when he played basketball there and becoming a sensation. They have a statue of this man out there. So, you know what I'm saying? So we can't make that. I don't think you can make that same comment and say, like, Ohtani isn't good for baseball when – I don't know about y'all. I watched the home run derby. I haven't watched that in a minute. Right. But I want to see how Ohtani was going to do. So he's a big deal.
Is Major League Baseball hurting? Is it hurting right now?
No. I don't think so because we're talking about it. And how much do we ever talk about baseball?
Well, they were hurting last year due to the pandemic, but 2019 was a great year for baseball. I think baseball had actually finally fully recovered from that 94 strike. They made so much money in revenue in 2019. And this year they're making a bunch of money too. I mean, this guy's from Japan. Japan might not be a big country, but 130 million people live in Japan. And a lot of them, the games come on TV there. So there is a renewed interest. And the MLB is making money because these Japanese networks are buying the rights to the games. So I mean, he's good for the game. He's generating revenue. When I went to Japan, back in, I went there 3 times. I went there once in 2010, 2016, and it's just amazing when there are Japanese players. There's like so much merchandise being sold. You have people wearing the hats, the jerseys. The people are at the bars watching the Milwaukee Brewers. It's crazy. You would never think that a person from Japan would be rooting for the Milwaukee Brewers, but because Japanese players are playing in these cities, I mean, it's good, man. And even in Korea, you've seen an influx of Korean players in the game. So like now, Ryu Hyunjin, who plays for the Blue Jays now, he came in with the Dodgers, and my friend who still lives there, he's like, they're showing Blue Jay games every day now. Blue Jay, Korean people are becoming more familiar with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and some of the other people. So I mean, this is good for the game when you have people from different countries playing in the MLB. It's good. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me, well, first, Steph, I know Rachel Nichols is finally gonna have a quiet night tonight. In the last 48 hours, she's had a very quiet night. The pressure's off for her at this point. But in all seriousness, Stephen A. Smith, this is another thing where I don't think it's more so it's him as far as him being overworked. They're putting him in spots where he really doesn't know the knowledge of it. I think that's where it really what ultimately boils down to. Because most of the time when he talks about stuff that's non-basketball, he misses the mark.
Oh yes,
regardless of the thing. But this one, you look at it from a standpoint of it's an international game. You don't really fall. It's 2021. The game is global. Every sport is global now. You don't have to rely on a U.S. audience. That's just like you saying Yao Ming 20 years ago when he came in the league. Oh, he needs an interpreter. That's bad for the league. No, it helped the league grow because now they have a cultural icon and Yao Ming in the same this type of situation. And the thing about it, and I just found it just very weird. Like this is another situation where you got to read the room. And with these type of situations, like I forgot. I think you, JB, was talking about it. Time period and what's going on in this climate. For you to say something of this nature, that's not gonna fly. So for you to even kind of even make that kind of statement to yourself is like, all right, I need to kind of check and kind of what this is about. But it's another thing with Stephen A. And I'm not surprised because I think sometimes I feel like he does this stuff intentional in a sense, just to get the thing. Because when you sit down, like he used to say a lot of weird stuff. Like the other week, he was saying, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about is how I can make my boss more money and how much I can get more of it.
Right.
And I'm thinking
that's who he is. That's who he is.
He's
the guy that they put out there. Like you just said, we're not talking about Rachel Nicholson right now. We talk about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, Howard Bryant made this point on the Dan Le Batard show, but just saying, like, there's a difference between media and journalists. I mean, Stephen A., he was a journalist, but that's not what he is right now. He's part of the media. Sports media, talking about everything, trying to get those buzz going, putting clips on Twitter and having people talk about it and blow up. And that's evident here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a journalist. That's not what he's got going on right now. So this is another case of the bad sports media when stuff like this happens.
Yeah, actually to James' point where he said he's only his brand now. Shout out to Bars, he's right. I mean, and that's like
bars dropping the bars.
Bars. little Daniel Jones. Shout out to Bars.
But he kind of like for me with everything going on, and he's been getting a lot of heat lately, and you can see it's weighing on him too. It seemed, I really believe, like this situation in Nigeria and even this one, it kind of like was said just to calm some things down around that station because they was getting a lot of heat. You know what I mean? A lot of heat. And I think that's what he's there for. I hate to say that. The more and more, I'm trying to keep my mouth shut from not saying it, but I'm really thinking that's probably part of his contract. You my cleanup guy. You can take it. You know what I mean? And like I said, he comes from, I didn't know this. Like I'm talking about early Hot 97. I'm talking about with all the drama and crazy stuff they used to do before they got big. He was a part of that crew. I'd never heard that before. That shocks me. You know what I mean? But again, I feel like he's a little overworked. And what I mean by that is that he got to be on everything. Like, why are you at UFC? Don't nobody care. Last time you did that, you and Joe Rogan got into it. You know what I mean? Just do basketball and football, man. It seemed like that's where you got somewhat of your knowledge for. Just stay out
and even with football though, Maui, man, like he'll be saying somebody's on the team and they're not on the team or they're injured and stuff. Like he just needs to do basketball.
Hunter Henry. Yeah. He was on the injured reserve.
And Teddy Bruschi.
You just saying that because he dogged the Cowboys, man.
No,
that's
I'm
not. I'm messing.
Yeah, I know. Him and you have to have the resident cowboy haters on every network, so like it's Shannon and it's him. So I don't take anything they say serious. But no, man, even with the UFC thing, like like Joe Rogan was trying to tell him, like, look, man, like you can't say some of the stuff you're doing and then you want to come to these events. Like these people are going to host up because he was trying to say, oh well, so and so was scared, and like Joe Rogan fought in UFC. He's done MMA, and like what Joe Rogan says, sometimes when you are a UFC fighter, and this even happens with boxing, sometimes you get hit so hard, you're rocked, you don't know what to do, and it's not about you being scared. It's just sometimes you're shocked because that's what happened to homeboy against Tyson Fury. I mean, he got rocked early in the fight, and he just was never the same. It was like he was shell shocked, and then Stephen A. Smith posted a video like he was straying. Like, look, man, I'm just gonna say this, man. Joe Rogan would beat the mess out of him. If they fought in a UFC fight, Joe Rogan would destroy him. And Stephen A. Smith can pretend like yeah, no, Joe Rogan would destroy this guy.
It was his ass.
Yes, he would.
But I think that he's getting that $12 million for. I think he underpaid. Because he's everywhere. He's always been everywhere.
He's everywhere. He's all over the place.
Like, you got Greeny and Golick, like, man, we going to get paid. We going to sit right here and do one show, and we good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stephen A's been there long enough that he should have one show. And then, you know what? I bet you he might not even be in the predicament that he in. You know what I mean? But anyway, it is what it is. It's Stephen A.
But yeah, I mean, because what you think he do? He do First Take. He got his own other show like on ESPN Plus. Mm-hmm. He do the Sports Center. I think like once a week. Did he do all the fights and stuff? He's everywhere. He do the fights, and he get ready to be on the soaps. I think he get ready to have a. I don't know if it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a recurrent role, but I think he's gonna have a significant time. I think he's gonna have an action scene this time. I think he's gonna have more of a prominent role on General Hospital this time than I think he's had in the past.
Have you noticed none of his shows make it? Like his actual show on ESPN, like he's had like 3 or 4. They never make it. It's like he just better off. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah, like that's all he needs to be. Like he don't need to do nothing else. But that's why he's just narcissistic and he's selfish. You want everything to be about him.
Well, I wouldn't say it's him being selfish. I think it's more so the network pushing him to do these things. Because it's almost, and I don't know if you guys, Chris, I don't know if you remember. I don't know. Did we talk about Addison Rae in the group chat the other day? Remember, Addison Rae from the UFC. Well, because the influence of her, as far as. She was supposed to get that gig at UFC, but she was saying only 3 months or whatever. They said third, but she had like 4 million followers. So she had 4 million followers. So that's why she got that gig. And the same thing for Stephen A. Smith. I just think that people he draws eyes to his content, fairly or not. But people love Stephen A. Smith. May not, He has millions of followers.
We got to. I mean, he's there. We got to because he's there.
Not necessarily. I mean, people you don't have to. Yeah, people love him. That's what I'm saying. He's a draw. We don't have no choice. You have to.
They like Baby Steve. They like Baby Steve.
People like the energy. People love
right. People like that.
How he is. He's a talent. People like it.
It's 2021. You have a multitude of choices. Like Stephen A. Smith isn't the only person. He's not like this. Ain't like the old days where you just had like the who else? Dan Rather, all those guys. Like you just had one news anchor, whatever. You got tons of people, but people love Stephen A. Smith. I mean,
I'm telling you, it's gonna be one day we gonna watch it. And Stephen A. gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing? What's up? Hey, Molly. Hey, Mac." And he gonna fall asleep. Because the last 2 days I seen him, he looked like.
Yeah, because you think about it. Right, because he was at UFC. UFC, that was in Las Vegas, wasn't it? Was that? I forgot where it was at. But anyway, it was just that point. But then he gets on the plane to go to Milwaukee. And then he back in New York Monday. And then he probably going to Milwaukee tonight. Well, so dude's everywhere.
He's like Visa. He's like Visa.
He's all over the place. But like you said, that's ESPN just putting them in situations because they love him. They why not? I mean,
he's the money maker.
He's a money maker. He's the one. He's carrying ESPN. He is. You can't spell Stephen A. Smith without ESPN.
Some days I wake up just to figure out what could I do to make Couch Coach Live more money.
Because
I'm getting it, baby.
I know I couldn't believe it. I was like, when he said that, I thought he got hacked. I thought he was hacked just like J. Will.
Oh.